Big news for the XRP community. David Schwartz is coming back into the scene and talking about, hey, maybe danger, danger. We'll see what's happening. Hello, everyone. Hope you guys are having an amazing day around. XRP is around $2.24 as we speak. Wow, we actually are moving, right? But again, we need to. We can't dump from here, guys, right? We either has to we have to consolidate and keep just moving higher and higher and higher, right? There's a lot of resistance points incoming, but we must battle our way through them. Now, here comes David Schwartz, and he's awfully active recently, isn't he? Right, tweeting here and there, sometimes bullish, and then perhaps sometimes this looks to me bearish in some way. Now, guys, there's the fun part of XRP in the XRP community. Now, this is quite interesting. David Schwartz tweets out, the skull looks cool, but everything else looks like cheap plastic. And he's pointing to a $2.5 million Richard Mille blue sapphire skull, guys. And here it is. Wow. Now, when I see this, the first thing that pops out is obviously the blue, right? The blue color. Which seems significant. Oh, it definitely does. Gemstone and birthstone guide. The month of September is literally a sapphire. That's odd. I've heard that month before as well. Maybe that's when a ritual will take place with Bitcoin. Remember, maybe in order for them to print so much money, a recession may or must happen. So just keep this in your back pocket. But the skull in itself, right? The skull within the watch, guys, seems very significant, right? It's like saying or telling us a message. Now, right off the bat, we know that the skull connects to the skull of Satoshi. Okay? That's odd that David Schwartz is literally talking about the same exact thing here, right? So we know the skull ties to Bitcoin, and this is like a warning, I'm guessing, that Bitcoin's death is near. Not today, tomorrow, but near. Right? At some point, we're getting close, guys. Very close, it seems as. Now, the question to me is, are we going to collapse any minute now? Or is Bitcoin going to go to, you may think this is crazy, but $2.5 million before the skull activates, right? The skull of Satoshi, he starts selling his coins at $2.5 million per Bitcoin. I don't know, right? But we're just trying to observe here, guys. I was shocked when I seen this, right? Especially when Ripple gifted a death skull Bitcoin statue to a museum. Think about that message, right? Interesting. Everything else looks like cheap plastic. Yeah, that's what's coming to Bitcoin soon. Cheap prices. But remember, the money will be flooding in from Bitcoin to XRP. That's my belief, right? Because Satoshi Nakamoto warned us of Wave and Ripple, right? Design book, which the Bitcoiners never talk about. Literally showcasing or hidden in plain sight, telling everyone to maybe look for Ripple. Right, it'll be the wave, it'll be the tsunami, guys, that the money, when this skull activates, will flood into XRP. Perhaps that's the case. I mean, we're not making this stuff up. Literally, the head research at Uphold says hundreds of projects or crypto projects will go bankrupt in the next 6 months. They are quickly running out of runway. They have no cash, and the tokens are increasingly worthless. The ICO model is finally drawing its last breath. That's funny that this person says this. Remember, he works at Uphold. Okay? That's major in itself. But number two is Brad Garlinghouse said November 9th, if I'm not mistaken, it came out, 9/11, that 99% of projects will vanish and disappear. XRP will not be one of them, right? Bitcoin is probably a part of that statistic. Don't we see? We're living in crazy times here. You definitely wish or want to protect your wealth, guys, right? Because anything can happen. Any black swan can arrive at any point in time. Mr. Poole told us they're going to prop Bitcoin higher until the day it isn't propped any longer. But the question remains, when will it be that day? Nobody knows except the insiders. This is why I said the higher Bitcoin goes, the riskier it is to hold. That's just my opinion, right? But it's going to keep pumping until that day though. So don't be bearish. What's funny about talking about death, right? And the catastrophic events to all these coins. Well, today from Mr. Poole on June 3rd, 2020, he posted a reset counter 589. That's odd that today David Schwartz tweeted out this as well, talking about death. 589 is what the reset, which is again destruction or death. Today there's a double 589 actually, because June 3rd, 2025 in the solar calendar is May 8th, 2025 in the lunar calendar, which is again another 589, guys. A double 589 today. Crazy stuff, right? Not to mention Elon Musk on the same exact day 2 years ago talked about time to complete the circle. X.com, XRP. But wait a minute, completing a circle is what? 5 times 8 times 9 equal 360, which is a circle in itself. Confirming what? To complete 589, the reset. It's time to complete the circle, right? So what are the chances of all this happening? I don't know, but Gold Telegraph says the chances are actually very high. The Fed, Jerome Powell, just stated that, quote, the end of the Bretton Woods era in the 1970s fundamentally changed the conduct of monetary policy, end quote. So what happened in the 1970s? Does anybody know? Maybe somebody should figure that one out. The signals are all over the place. Why bring this up now? So this way he says, guys, and he's basically talking about a change of order, right? A new financial system, perhaps. Listen to this. Look, observe, and see what colors he's wearing again.
Had emerged from World War II as a global economic superpower. The Bretton Woods Agreement placed the U.S. and the Fed in a central position in the global economy. Our mission then, as it is now, was to serve the American people. But it was clear at that moment that the Fed needed to have better knowledge of global developments to achieve our dual mandate goals. A 1948 memo proposing to create the division stated, quoting, problems of international economics and finance have become increasingly large, complex, and significant in recent years, and our foreign economic relations will undoubtedly continue to give rise to issues of the first magnitude. That rare economic forecast that has turned out to be spot on. 75 years later, it remains critical that the Fed understand the policies and practices of other governments and central banks and their implications for the U.S. economy and for financial markets. Exchange rate policy, of course, is now firmly in the hands of the U.S. Treasury. However,
wait a second. Quote unquote, exchange rate policy. Someone else stated that's XRP, right? Exchange, drop the E, you got exchange, rate, right? R, and then policy for P. Interesting.
The end of the Bretton Woods era in the 1970s fundamentally changed the conduct of monetary policy, as policymakers had to understand the effects of potentially more volatile movements of the U.S. dollar on American families and businesses. Understanding global trade and capital movements has only grown in importance since 1950, as we saw during the pandemic.
Supposedly, the Nazis abandoned a gold standard, guys, okay? And talking about a policy shift here, right? A monetary policy shift. What's odd about that is the color, the purple tie, what kind of tie is he wearing? A purple tie, right? The purple road leads to the Federal Reserve, which they are what? Surrendering. Okay? Exchange rate policy, XRP. Could it be? I don't know about anybody else, but I know it's all planned. He predicted it in 1993. Nearly 3 decades later, he partnered with Ripple to build it. Right? Now, Bill Gates, like 32 years ago, guys, right? Within this article, it talks about a bunch of stuff that has come true today, right? From phones to digital ID and cryptocurrencies 32 years ago. So basically in 1993, he said a wallet PC could contain everything from digital photos to digital money, tickets, and identification. with built-in communication, right? This is why I stated the plans that are going on with XRP, guys, right, which is Lucifer, is probably planned thousands of years ago. If the past proves the future and the future proves the past, XRP wasn't here 1,000 years ago. I don't think so, right? Maybe even 2,000. It was probably a very long time ago, guys, that they're trying to resurrect it, right, in some type of ritual. So this is crazy, guys. Gates Foundation partners with former Ripple CTO's blockchain project, right? They're all Ripple, by the way, not any other crypto project. They are connected to Ripple. Why is it always Ripple and XRP? Exactly. Maybe perhaps they're the chosen one, right? Maybe because it's for that purpose. Mr. Poole just got confirmed today from Zero Hedge. He tweeted out this chest, right? Extremely similar to what Mr. Poole tweeted out, which glows, or the XRP logo is levitating, right? XRP is levitating or floating, guys, and it's like not fully open here, right? It's about to open up, maybe perhaps reveal XRP, right? So things are looking pretty crazy if you ask me. Here's another one from Not Financial Advice Crypto. In physics, space-time is the fabric of the universe. So is that why it's Stellar and Ripple, right? Stellar relating to the stars, and then Ripple, gradual changing of the future timeline after the changing of present events. So is that why it's Stellar and Ripple? Because Stellar equals space and Ripple, right? Or Stellar equals space and Ripple equal time. Space and time, huh? Wow, manipulation of space and time. That's what the United States government said they have the technology to do. The definition of stellar is of or relating to the stars, and the definition of ripple effect is the gradual changing of the future timeline after the changing of present events. Right? So things are making sense here, in my humble opinion. Yeah, I mean, from all of this, guys, to me, in conclusion, it says like Bitcoin is definitely not it. Right, it was an experimental test to lure everyone. At some point in time, they're gonna rug pull it. For now, we're most definitely bullish, right? May as well try to make as much money possible because that's what they're doing. But the issue here or there is they will know when to get out, right? Now when they do get out, where will that money flood into? Right, it's not gonna just vanish away. Probably the easiest or seamless flow will be flooding into XRP. There it is. Today is 6/3, right? It is June. Well, June is the third month on the 13th month calendar. Okay, and lots of stuff happened today. The fountain for today's video, from Ripple Crippler, talking about a clock, right? TikTok. Perhaps snowballs right there as well. So yeah, I don't know, guys. I'm just kind of mind boggled about XRP and Bitcoin's death skull, right? Because remember, that was a couple days later from when the gift was happening from Ripple to the museum for the Bitcoin Satoshi skull. Very fascinating indeed. Maybe a warning, maybe not, maybe just a coincidence. Not financial advice, or maybe just a joke or a troll. Whatever that Sophie's Museums. See ya. But I trust in the messages.